New from Mego's The Black Hole Collection. The mighty starship, the Palomino. Some assembly required. Opening hatch to reveal all your favorite characters, including Emmy Award-winning Ernest Borgnine, every kid's favorite. C, the pilot, Dan at the controls. Look at the hologram. Look at the robots. New from Mego, or old from Mego. Not available anywhere.
Well, today we're looking at a unproduced Mego playset stroke toy. So obviously, as you know from my channel, I'm a big fan of the Black Hole. A flawed but very, very enjoyable Disney film. Pardon me, got a bit of a cough today. And Mego did a range of the 3 3/4 inch figures, which I think are one of their best. Well, I'll say it's their best line ever. Great articulation, amazing sculpts, really good play value. Loved them as a kid. But even back then I knew that the film probably hadn't done too well, because the figures started appearing in all the bargain bins everywhere. You couldn't give them away at one point. Now they're worth quite a bit, especially the robots. And I recently, as you know, made a little old Bob figure, because that one is one of the ones that's really hard to get. But sort of the holy grail that you'll never get is the Palomino spaceship playset, which was, I think, a prototype was made, and possibly one or two sort of production tests, but it was never released. The film had sort of tanked by the time it was ready for release, so it appears in some promotional brochures and on the TV advert. But my understanding, and let me know if I'm wrong, I don't think it was ever released, certainly not in America. Some of the stuff was released in Spain and Canada, but I'm pretty certain the Palomino never made it out there. So recently I've been trying to pick up Fusion 360 again, because we've sort of upgraded a couple of our 3D printers, so I thought, I want to make something. What should I make? And I've always wanted to make a Palomino, and it's fairly simplish shapes, so I thought I'd give it a go, and I wanted to do it as close to the images I've seen for the Mego toy as I could, but also with a few little spins. I wanted to give it a bit more play value. Out of the way, Bob. So the ship from the outside is quite a good image of the scale model. It's a little bit out of scale, and some of the details on the Mego one weren't right. They'd been changed for, obviously, you know, because it was a toy, and also because of it needed to be made cheaply enough that it could still turn a profit. So there's lots of little corners cut. It's woefully out of scale, as a lot of the playsets were, like the Star Wars Millennium Falcon. And basically it's like a quality street tin with legs on a sort of platform. So I created it from the bottom up. So this is a separate piece that ends there. That goes into a hole in here. That's a separate piece. The top panel is a separate piece. The lid is a separate piece, and the antenna is a separate piece. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the door. 6 pieces go towards this. So I made them all separately as STL files. I don't know what I'm doing on building stuff like this, so there's probably 100,000 ways it could be done better, but I just do it my own way, and it's basically I just use the draw, create a sketch, and then extrude, and then remove stuff. It works. And then I once I'd done that, I got my wife to 3D print it out on our older 3D printer, so there are a few lines on it. You know, sort of, yeah, with 3D printing you get weird sort of effects going on, but I think it adds to to the toyness of it. And I left it in silver. I didn't want one that I wanted to paint. Someone's fell over in there. I didn't want one I had to paint because I wanted it to look like a toy. So the detail is minimal, but more than the original I had, I think. So it can turn on its legs. So it shows that in the advert. I don't know what the play value is on that. You've got an opening door. And you can see into the interior. And I put more into the interior than I think the original had. I created some stickers using transparent inkjet printer paper, which is really weird. You can just print on it and then it's transparent. It's great. So I did things like that. Palomino. So you've got the door, which we'll come back to, and it's all properly hinged. Pardon me. And then I never understood what these were on the toy. I don't think they're on the model. It looks like windows, and basically this is the pilot's. That opens up, see it's hinged, and this is the pilot's area. I might make some changes to the seat. So I created a seat and a control panel because the seat's a little bit narrow for these big bummed fellas. So the idea is that the pilot, either Dan or Charlie, sits in there. One thing I added that I don't think was on the original but seems sensible to me was the top of the sort of pilot's bit. I put the hologram of the black hole in there, so you can have your figures looking at it. Ooh, it's a black hole. He's fell off again. And something else different to the Mego one, I made this whole top section removable. That was originally, judging by the adverts, part of this whole thing, so you couldn't get into it. And I thought, as a kid, I just wanted to get into playsets. I didn't like ones that you couldn't get into. So interior wise, I've made a few changes. So I've given them a control panel and a seat to sit on, so they can all sit having their dinner. And again, just some stickers on it, some random stickers about, a little bit of detail. Put some detail on the back of the door. On the other side of this, I made a hole so that the pilot can get down into it, and you can use it almost as like a lift shaft. One thing I thought afterwards, you know where they're hovering in and out, I suppose you could do that, but I could have made the seat removable. There's a little control panel, and then on the stickers I did some computer banks, and I thought little TV screens so they can look at the Cygnus, and little computer banks. And I thought I could do anything nice, so I just went and sort of created some stuff, and then went on on Google, and found some public domain stuff. And also, I think on the original, the figures, it wasn't quite tall enough that the figures could stand up in. So I've made it slightly taller so that they can stand up. Sounds like Maggie's coming to me. And also I made it slightly bigger so you can get Vincent in there. I don't know if Max would fit. Yeah, Max fits in there as well, in case you turn him to the good side. And I say door opens so you can have play value. You've got the windows, which I think they might have been glazed in the prototype, but I figure the toy one I would have broken straight away as a kid. Like I say, I just created all the decals, decals. These should be a bit more rounded, but again, I'm not very good at doing shapes on the 3D modelling program, so I just did ones that I wanted to do, and then it all goes together. So from a distance, it does look like quite a nice little representation of the. Did you hear that? The cat just went downstairs going. Good representation of the Palomino. And the cat's had a poo, and I didn't want to put lights or anything in it because the one in 1980 wouldn't have had it either. Was it 79? No, Star Trek Motion Picture was 79 when I think these came out in 1980. I'll just put some random controls on to give it a bit of detail. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way it came out. I say I'm not a great modeller, and my printer's not the best. That realistically on the original or on the prototype was there, but I'd put the door there, so It's now around the back. And for the hinges, I just used Lego Technic bits. It was actually, I just guessed the size. I didn't realise I was going to use it. I was going to use dowling or something. And Lego Technic fitted perfectly in the spirit of toy polloi. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with it. I've always wanted one. It's going to go pride of place. I don't know where. I might clear the corner out and pop it in there. It'll look good actually in the corner. Put my figures and that in it, because it is one of the best. I think the best figure series. Stand down, stand, and then I've got the sentry going. I'm still on the lookout for Star and the humanoid, but I'll probably end up having to make them because they cost a fortune. But yeah, so what I might do, I don't know where yet. As soon as I've got the details, I'll let everyone know. But I'm going to make the STLs available, probably for a small fee. I doubt it'll be a lot, just to sort of cover hosting it. I was going to make it available on my Patreon, but honestly recently it's just been an absolute nightmare with people that join, download the files and then instantly cancel their membership, so they can't even be bothered to pay me £2 for the files they're using. And it's happened on multiple occasions now, not just one person, so I figure I'm not going to put stuff like this up there. But I popped it on the Black Hole Facebook page and there was quite a bit of interest. I think it was my most commented on photo ever. Like 1,000 comments and likes and things. And a lot of people saying they would like me to produce one of them to sell. I just haven't got the capabilities to make a lot of these. My printer would die very rapidly. This main body part, that was like a 28-hour print, and it just gets so hot. But if you've got a 3D printer, you can always get the files and print it yourself. And perhaps if you've got a better printer, print them off and let me see. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see these all over the place, because it's such a nice design, the Palomino. But yeah, I'll if anyone's got any suggestions on how to get the STLs out there in a secure way where both sides feel safe in the transaction. Originally I was going to do it like just PayPal